Have you ever found yourself in the same situation? Again and again? Different person. Same story. At first, everything feels promising. There's chemistry, attention, maybe even a sense of connection. But as time goes on, something shifts. They pull away. They become distant. Hard to read. Harder to reach. And somehow, you're left trying harder, giving more, waiting longer, hoping this time it'll be different. But it rarely is. So the question becomes, why do you keep attracting emotionally unavailable people? First, let's get one thing clear. This is not about blame, it's about awareness. Because what feels like bad luck is often a pattern. And patterns don't come from nowhere. They come from what feels familiar. Attraction isn't always about what's healthy. It's about what your mind recognizes. If you grew up in an environment where love felt inconsistent, where attention had to be earned, where emotional connection came with distance or unpredictability, then your brain may have learned something without you realizing it. Love is something you have to chase. So when someone shows up fully available, open and consistent, it might actually feel boring. Not because it is, but because it's unfamiliar. And when someone is distant, hot and cold, or hard to read, it feels like something you understand, something you know how to navigate. Here's where it gets deeper. Emotionally unavailable people often trigger a specific response in you, the need to prove your worth. You start thinking, if I just show them enough, if I'm patient, if I give more, they'll eventually open up. But what's really happening is this: you're trying to win a connection that was never fully offered in the first place. And that pursuit, it can feel like purpose. There's also a hidden comfort in chasing unavailable people, because as long as they remain distant, you never have to fully confront your own vulnerability. Think about it. If someone is truly available, emotionally present, consistent, ready, that requires you to be seen, fully. No games, no guessing, no emotional distance to hide behind. And for many people, that level of closeness feels intimidating. So, without realizing it, you may gravitate toward people who can't meet you fully, because it feels safer. Another reason? You ignore early signs. Emotionally unavailable people rarely hide who they are. They might say things like, "I'm not ready for anything serious. I'm bad at relationships. I like to take things slow." And instead of taking these as clear signals, you see them as challenges. You think they just haven't met the right person yet. But that mindset pulls you deeper into a cycle where you're investing in potential instead of reality. Let's talk about energy. People who are emotionally unavailable often give just enough to keep you hooked. A little attention, a little affection, a little hope. Not enough to build something real, but enough to keep you from walking away. This creates a loop. You crave more, then they pull back. You chase harder, and then they give just a little bit. And, well, it repeats. And over time, this dynamic can feel strangely addictive, because your brain starts associating uncertainty with attraction. But here's the truth most people avoid. It's not just about who you attract, it's about who you allow to stay. Attraction might be automatic, but, attachment is a choice, and every time you overlook red flags, every time you settle for inconsistency, Every time you stay when your needs aren't being met, you reinforce the pattern. So, how do you break it? First, you get honest, not just about them, but about yourself. Ask yourself, why does consistency feel unfamiliar? Why do I feel more drawn to distance than presence? Why do I equate struggle with love? These questions aren't easy, but honestly, they're necessary. Second, you redefine what attraction means. Attraction isn't just butterflies and intensity. Real attraction includes stability, respect, and emotional availability. It might not feel as exciting at first, but that's only because your system is used to chaos, not calm. Third, you set boundaries early. When someone shows you they're unavailable, believe them. Don't wait for potential. Don't try to fix or change them. Because emotional availability isn't something you can earn from someone. It's something they have to choose for themselves. And finally, you choose yourself. Not in a surface-level motivational quote kind of way, but in your actions. You stop overgiving. You stop over-explaining. You stop chasing clarity from someone who benefits from confusion. You start walking away from what doesn't meet you, even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable. Because the moment you stop accepting emotional unavailability, you stop attracting it in the same way. Not because those people disappear, but because they no longer fit into your life. At the end of the day, you don't attract what you want. You attract what feels familiar. And you keep what you believe you deserve. So if you're ready for something real, something consistent, mutual, and emotionally present, it starts with breaking the pattern. Not out there, but within you.